Casemiro is a different one. Casemiro just seems to have aged 2 decades over the course of that second suspension that he got, and he's been useless ever since. And the problem is that the way that Ten Hag now wants to play, Casemiro's role is crucial because if you want, he wanted to play. I mean, the plan it seems to be that Casemiro was going to play in the defensive midfield role in front of the back four, and then he was going to play with Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount as kind of two attacking number eights. Now, I don't think that even with a peak Casemiro necessarily, that midfield has the physicality to work and has all the ability to retain possession. And it needs at least one of those two things, possibly both, to work as a midfield three. So I think that is probably a mistake. But also, the way that Casemiro played until that second suspension and the way he's played since are very, very different. And it's not even just that Casemiro was playing well for United. He was brilliant for Brazil in the World Cup too. And again, unless his legs have gone over that period, it's very hard to understand why it is. But if you look at the way that Brighton attacked, particularly in the second half, the space was in that Casemiro zone in front of the back four, in that space where you would want where Sandro Martinez finds himself getting done by Pascal Gross. You would kind of hope that Casemiro would be there to sweep that up. So United do have options, but they don't have them quite yet. But one thing that doesn't appear to be an option is Casemiro and two attacking midfield players. It feels like now, if you want to play Casemiro, you can, but you've got to play him with either Amrabat when fit or Mainu when fit, because otherwise you won't have enough ballast to your midfield, because Casemiro isn't capable of physically covering the width of the pitch. And where he was really good last season was actually around the opposition box. So if you play Amrabat or Mainu, who in theory have the ability, and we don't know how well they can do this for Manchester United at this point, but they have the ability in theory to play as a number six. If you play Casemiro next to them, then you get that extra defensive solidity, and you also have two players, whether it's Casemiro and Mainu or Amrabat and Mainu or Casemiro and Amrabat, who can give you that physicality that you need whilst also getting the ball forward. And it doesn't feel like Casemiro, Mount, and Bruno Fernandes is going to be a workable midfield. But in the meantime, United don't have options. So on Saturday, they tried to put Scott McTominay in there. And it feels like Ten Hag's made it quite clear he would have liked Scott McTominay to leave. He doesn't really want to use him, but the circumstances forced that to happen. And assuming no one new is fit for the game against Bayern Munich, I think we'll probably see something like that against them too, because you can't go and play Bayern Munich away with Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes, because you might score some goals, but you'll be liable to concede quite a few too.